This is Land of Havilah, Isaiah 4. Carrying over from chapter 3, Yahweh says, "A time's coming to Judah and Jerusalem of poverty, drought, famine, and lack of mature male leadership. The young men will die by the sword. There'll be lamenting in the gates, desolation, and sitting on the ground in mourning. And one more thing," verse 1, "7 women shall take hold of one man in that day, saying, 'We'll eat our own bread and wear our own clothing. Just let us be called by your name. Take away our reproach.'" Comment: in this horrible time, women can't find husbands. They're getting to be old maids because the young men have been killed, and the ones that are left lack food and clothing. They're not in any condition to marry a wife. Now, out of all this devastation, verse 2, "In that day Yahweh's branch will be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the land will be the beauty and glory of the survivors of Israel. It will happen that he who's left in Zion and he who remains in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even everyone who's written among the living in Jerusalem, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from within it, by the spirit of justice and by the spirit of burning. Yahweh will create over the whole habitation of Mount Zion and over her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night, for over all the glory will be a canopy. There will be a pavilion for a shade in the daytime from the heat, and for a refuge and for a shelter from storm and from rain." Comment: that's the end of the chapter. It's only 6 verses. Verses 2 to 6 we just read were a transition from a time of devastation to a time of Yahweh's beautiful and glorious branch. Chances are verses 2 to 6 are a prophecy of end times for 2 reasons. The first is the mention of the branch. A branch will appear again in Isaiah 11, and there the branch is clearly and unmistakably Jesus. He comes from the stock of Jesse, which was David's father. Yahweh's 7-fold Spirit rests on him of wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, and fear of Yahweh. The branch will judge. The wolf will lie down with the lamb. The nursing child will play near a cobra's hole. The earth will be full of the knowledge of Yahweh. The dispersed of Judah will have been gathered from the 4 corners of the earth. So that's Jesus reigning on the earth in the end times in that branch passage. And the branch reappears in Jeremiah 23:5. There Yahweh will raise to David a righteous branch. He'll reign as king. Judah will be saved. The branch will be called Yahweh our righteousness. And again the branch appears in Jeremiah 33:15, which again is the Messiah. And the branch appears in Zechariah 3:8. The iniquity of the land will be removed in one day. In that passage, everyone will dwell under his vine and fig tree, repeating the millennial theme. And in Zechariah 6:12, a man whose name is the branch shall build Yahweh's temple and shall bear the glory and sit and rule on his throne. We say all that to say that the branch in Isaiah 4:2 we just read is in your narrator's mind Jesus, who has returned in his second coming to rule and reign. Besides the presence of the branch in this passage, the other thing that tips this off as being end times and not ordinary times is in verses 4 and 5 that there's a supernatural canopy over Mount Zion, similar to the pillar of cloud and fire that was in the desert. Quote, "Yahweh will create over the whole habitation on Mount Zion and over her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night, for over all the glory will be a canopy." End quote. So this isn't a description of ordinary times. The Lord will be present on Mount Zion, occupying the temple as king and priest, ruling the earth, and over Mount Zion, over that temple, a canopy of cloud and smoke by day, and shining flaming fire by night. In verses 3 and 4, every person who's left in Zion and Jerusalem shall be called holy. The filth of sin and stain of blood on the land will have been washed away. In summary, your narrator is going to call verses 2 to 6 we just read the millennial reign of Christ. And the part previous to it in chapter 3, which described a devastated Judah and Jerusalem, that was the run-up to this age of the branch. That section transitioned directly into this one with the words "in that day" in verse 2 of this chapter. So We have a choice. Should we assign that devastation into history past, or should we assign it into the prophetic timetable of the future? Clearly, there will be a great tribulation involving the entire world, and especially it'll affect Judah. It'll happen just before the millennium, Jeremiah 30, verse 7, and Matthew 24:21. So the devastations of Isaiah chapter 3, which is the run-up to this age of the branch, we might assign as being the Great Tribulation, or we could say that the words in that day in verse 2 don't indicate a direct transition, but that the disobedience of Judah in times past made Yahweh's mind skip forward to the millennium when they'll be disobedient no longer. Isaiah 5 is next.